Heidi Lynn from Harnessing Life here. Today I'm going to talk about sexual abuse and how that can affect your brain and your body. Much like physical abuse, this form of abuse can have an outward indication of abuse on your body that is visible. Some are not so visible. But I want to start out by saying that sexual abuse is not your fault. You are not defined by what someone else chooses to do to you or with you. Now, there are many ways in which sexual abuse affects your brain and your body. So let's start with your body and then we'll talk about your brain. With the body, you can have body image issues, so feeling like you're too fat or you're too skinny or whatever your abuser has said to you. Typically, sexual abuse is mixed along with other abuse, like verbal abuse and physical abuse. But the verbal abuse can be sexual in nature, and therefore today, at least with this video, I'm specifically going to be talking about some verbal abuse in relation to sexual abuse. So with body image issues, things that your abuser says, you internalize, and that becomes something that you believe, which can then turn into eating disorders. So if you think that you're too skinny, then you can go into excessive eating and eat too much, or vice versa. If you think you're too fat because your abuser has told you you're too fat, then you can go into something like bulimia or other eating disorders. There's many varieties of those. Also, self-injury, and there can be a variety of physical ailments, aches and pains. A lot of that goes with the stress that is part of the trauma experience. Now, I do also want to mention specifically in this video, because we are talking about sexual abuse, that the U.S. Department of Justice defined or redefined their definition of rape in 2012. And I wanted to read their definition in this video because it used to be very, very broad, and in 2012 they chose to narrow it down a lot, quite a lot. So their definition of rape is the penetration, no matter how slight, of the vagina or anus with any body part or object, or oral penetration by a sex organ of another person without the consent of the victim. Now please notice that this definition does not specify married or not married, in a relationship or not. Rape is rape whether you are married or not. If you do not give your consent to any sexual attempts from anyone, it may be considered rape. So I just wanted to put that out there because I know there's a lot of confusion around rape, especially with victims of sexual abuse or targets of sexual abuse, because the abusers will tell them over and over and over again that they are owned by them, that the target is owned by the abuser. So I can make sure that's clear, that no one else is going to love you, that you aren't going to be successful unless you're with them, or whatever their excuses are, and then you believe these things over time, and often will believe that you deserve this sexual abuse, or that it's just part of a normal relationship, because they'll keep telling you that we're married so you deserve this, or we're married so I deserve this, whatever the case may be. That is not true. Even in a marriage or a relationship, you are entitled to respect. Respect for your person inside and your person outside. In other words, your body. So, some ways that sexual abuse can affect your brain are shame, feelings of powerlessness. You may even question your sexual identity, or fear that others will know about the abuse and judge, which is why a lot of sexual abuse victims, especially with children, they tend to be fearful of being found out, or they tend to, they'll run away from home often. There's a lot of different warning signs for children than for adults, but there's that fear of being found out because it's embarrassing, and often the abuser will instill that fear in their victims and their targets as well. You can also feel dirty or bad or have feelings of worthlessness, a lot of anger, even anxiety, sadness, grief, depression, despair, so suicidal ideation, feel like you're not in control. You can have symptoms of PTSD, and also be hypervigilant, always on the lookout for something that's going to happen that makes you uncomfortable or makes you afraid. So I hope you learned something from this video. I hope you liked it. Feel free to like and share, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.